Hello, more Vortex. It's 7 AM in the morning. I've not slept. Thought I'm going to sleep soon. I've been out having a good time, raving, and eating butter. But I just had the idea of trying to think about maybe having a little bit of a mini rant, always a good thing, about art and the art world and the distinction between the two, and how one I can really get on board with, and one is just a whole heap of annoying bullshit, to be honest. So you can probably guess which one is a whole heap of annoying bullshit. That's the art world, of course. Yes, I can fucking take or leave it. Now, it's like any other social group or defined. I want to define it in those terms. There's always like art in a lot of ways is the extreme in and out group. There's an in thing and an out thing. Fashion and art don't really mix, but it comes into it a lot. Like sort of trends and sort of what's the thing that's in at the minute with collectors and whatnot. But true art itself, I think, roots from the opposite of this. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be, just do the opposite of what everyone's doing, be contrarian in a sense to make art. That's just bollocks as well, of course. But what it does mean, I think, is something I've been trying to practice a lot more myself, which is radical authenticity. No bullshit, really. If you're a person who want to make any sort of art, then one of the most important things to remember, and I've been doing this now for 15 or 20 years with varying degrees of success, is don't bullshit. If you know about your experience in your expression in the artwork that you produce, do not bullshit. Don't try and hide anything. Don't try. Be authentic, right? This is some of my work. Not all of this is actually my work, but a little smattering of it. These are mostly sketches. These are sketches, right? These are not finished pieces, but I think what I'm trying to say is you have to be. It's authenticity, I think, is an essential component of developing as an artist. It doesn't mean that like different artists do different styles as well, like painters. I guess really specifically I'm talking here about being a painter, which is the traditional fine artist sort of idea. Sort of old-fashioned these days in a way, but I don't care because, I dabble in the other stuff like digital and I guess you'd say but I just think someone who enjoys exploring visual form is, I don't know, but then that's was a bit long-winded. And all these definitions are just fucking lacking in the true meaning of artist is just, it's like it's a cliche, isn't it? It's a leaden cliche. It's like, when you try and define what art is, you're going to have a circular conversation that goes round and round for 30 minutes without reaching a conclusion. Which is sort of the joy of it, because if you're a bit sort of outside the box, you don't really fit in anywhere, then you can find a space in art. That's the great thing about it, really. If you're just an outsider or a weirdo like me, who sort of is bad at communicating, winds people up the wrong way, blunt, terrible with women in most scenarios, can't really communicate with the opposite sex that well, just like a complete mess of a human being in many conventional respects, then having art is the doorway into actually having, be able to express all those ideas and those feelings and emotions, and so it doesn't clog up your system in your brain, right, in your mind. But the art world is a very different thing. The art world is primarily centered around, this isn't some like, oh, fucking hate the art world because I've not had much success in it. I've had alright success. Like, I've formed a cooperative, I've been involved in cooperatives, but most of the stuff I've ever done has been grassroots. So the part I don't like about the art world is the sort of rich establishment part of it. But I think I could be proud of the fact that I've been involved in counter-cultural trends in terms of painting, even in London, like for a long time. And London's an art centre, so the best thing to do really is just to do your own thing. The whole thing of keeping art alive is DIY. It's that whole punk thing, right? Do the punk thing. And, actually when I actually think about, on reflection, my career, if you want to call it that, for painting, I've not done too badly. I've sold work, I've actually sold quite a lot of work, actually, not for huge amounts, we're talking hundreds of pounds, but I've had those sorts of successes where, I've sold work, and I've not sold any paintings for a while, but paintings to me have always been a hard sell because, generally speaking, I paint fairly large format. I tend to just paint whatever I want as well. I don't generally do commissions. I've done a few in my time, but I try, like I said, going back to the radical authenticity thing, my whole ethos is radical authenticity, the great and beautiful parts of life, and the ugly sides of yourself as well, I'm not a perfect human being. And if you can't reflect that, then people won't connect to your work as much in terms of eternity and time. If you can't reflect the fact that we're fucking contradictions that just walk around and haven't got it all figured out and never will, then how can you really connect to the deeper thing, right? And the funny thing with art is that this will be nice to remember, actually. I'd like to think about all this stuff again. Is when you make it, you don't really fully understand what it means, which is one of the interesting things about it. But looking back at a few sketches I've done over the last 8 months with this stuff here, and I don't know what all of it means fundamentally. There is a sort of general pattern that's emerging, right? But it's not some defined thing. It's is that right around? Yeah. So, it's not like I know exactly what's going on here. And I'm also working on a painting in a minute, it's just not finished. But it's you don't know what you're about completely when you're making it, which makes it, if you're an analytical sort of restless mind like me, to the point where it actually can make you ill, then having the ability to engage that restlessness with a visual expression, which then externalizes that restless nature. It's, one thing that sucks though about being an artist, right, especially a painter, is you're poor as fuck, all the time. You're always poor and in poverty, breadline and all that. And I'm lucky in the sense that I have a programming to fall back on, and that's usually not been a drag. It's usually been quite an interesting job. But when I have my difficult periods because I'm a moody bastard, that can be troublesome, definitely, for sure. And a lot of programming teams and stuff can be really cool, but a lot of them can be fucking squares as well, to be honest. Not all of them, it's mixed. But, some programs can really sound and everything, but some fucking programming dev teams they're square as fuck, and they're also tech bro fucking bollocks. I hate being around tech bros. Fuck off, really, just banging on about fucking NFT this and blah 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 and techno-utopianism this and fucking. I love technology, don't get me wrong, but everyone has such a fucking